Hey, let me start off by saying I'm here with Karen Norton. Karen Norton was in the school board competition. You had 7 other individuals that were running for 3 seats in the spring election. And you came in what place?
I started out right up there at the top, but ultimately I wound up being in 3rd, but I kept pretty close 2nd.
Now in April, you'll have 6 people that would be trying for 3 seats.
Yeah, on the
Okay,
school
and already you seem like you one of the front runners. Okay,
Yeah.
What made you decide to run for political office at this time in your life?
Well, it's a good time to do it because I've always been active. I've always, since probably started when I was 18 years old, trying to improve people, trying to do something for different ones. And my parents, my mother, my grandmother, they were teachers. Education's always been a top thing. But I've always been active since very young to try to motivate young people and also to try to do better, particularly for the African American community. I want to see us achieve. And through my different exploits of working with this group and giving a lot of my time freely, this was an opportunity to actually make a mark, really do something, make a difference in the lives of boys and girls.
Now let me ask you this: what do you view as some of the key issues that someone running for school board should be addressing at this particular time?
Well, right now in most people's mind is the redistricting. And then because the school board is really without, our whole system is really without a appointed superintendent, then we would need a superintendent, not just an interim, but a real superintendent. And also, but basically it's the achievement gap and making sure that our children achieve and reach their ultimate potential.
Now, I think all of us are aware that there is an achievement gap between minority students and their counterpart. Do you have any visions of things that you might want to do on the school board to try to change, narrow this gap or eliminate it if possible?
Yeah, but first of all, I know it wouldn't just be me. It would be me working collaboratively with the school board members that are there. And I think, first of all, that's one of the most, what I could bring to the board is a working together, because the board has been, in these past couple years, kind of fractured a lot. Being able to work with the board, first of all. And then, second of all, really trying to achieve the different goals that are set aside to make sure that the children get the right, are able to pass their tests.
Okay.
And then also, I like the ideal of options, of different setups. Maybe, virtual schools or neighborhood schools. Having different special schools, really paying attention to what's going on in the schools with the young people. Find some of the dropouts and find out why they dropped out.
Okay.
But basically motivating the parents, because I think the root of the children are the parents. To get the parents involved in the school system and make the school system make it easy for the parents to understand their role and to understand what the school district is really. So we're everywhere, but just, I don't need help, and because that'll set the tone. Redistricting sets the tone for everything. It'll set the tone.
Okay, we was talking about redistricting. Now, what's your views on redistricting and neighborhood schools? Is it different, or just kind of elaborate on it?
Okay, I believe that the redistricting is different than the issue of neighborhood schooling. It's a little bit different because the redistricting has to do, they're not just going to redistrict on economics alone or race alone, but they're trying to redistrict along with academics, there's different lines of redistricting, and what the board is going to need and what everyone is going to need to make this a success, it needs to be done because majority of all the students live east of 31, and a lot of new, houses and a lot of new settlements are happening west, and the city is growing and spreading out. So it's going to have to be done. But the board would need everybody, and that's one thing I would try to bring to the board is a way to bring every section of town. Or, we need like the NAACP, and we need different ones from different groups to come and be represented in committees and things to help decide what the line should be. It shouldn't just be left up just to solely, to the board, but the board represents the community. And that's what we need. We need the communication from the board and the community to make these major decisions that affect a lot of people.
Now, people sometimes get real upset when you talk about busing. It seems to be a passionate topic in this community. How do you feel about busing? Do you feel that the time have passed and busing is not needed that much? Or do you think to achieve some unified objective we need to continue busing?
Well, busing is good just in the fact that it's good transportation. But if you're using busing to equal test scores and
Let me just kind of give me an idea of whether or not you feel that any new schools need to be built within the unified school district, and what would be the advantage and what kind of reaction you would anticipate from taxpayers?
At first, I would probably look, or the board would probably get some rejections at first because of the amounts that come forth. But we've got to understand we need to stop putting our 21st century children into 18th century buildings. Some of those buildings were built, I would say, early 1900s, and some even 1800s. And we want to wonder why older people had better education. Well, they had better schools 50 years ago. Our children deserve new facilities, new buildings. That buildings, when you look at them, they look like hope. They look like somewhere I want to go. This looks like a place I want to learn. So I'm for new buildings. At first, the reaction might not be so cordial, or it may be shocking. But we live in a time where we want new things. People are building new houses. McDonald's has tore down their old place. They could have made money in their new place, but they've built new ones because you've got new kids. New children need new things. It's secondary. The facility is secondary to the education, but your surroundings make you feel much better. So I think that we need them. I think it would encourage our children. I think it would give them a sense of hope. And, that's bottom line is hope. And it might be placed in some of these places where, the children can have some conveniences and maybe they can start walking to school. Yeah. That would be nice in some new buildings. Yeah.
How do you want the people that you are asking to support you, what you want them to know about you that's probably unique and different than other candidates?
Well, I would say this. I'm not coming with just passion. There's different passions. There's passions to do good, and sometimes there's passions not to do good. But I'm not coming with just passion. I'm coming with compassion. And I think that's a big difference. I think you need to care. I have always cared. I have children that are in the school system, and before the children were in the school system, I've always cared about my community and other communities, about children and about people, because that's where people start from. The adults start from children. And because of the love of God that I have in my life, I feel compelled to share that in every area, not just, in church, but every